Welcome everybody, this is Trip on Two Wheels, and the topic of this video is the 7 things that I like most about the Kawasaki Vulcan S 650, which happens to be the bike that I'm riding right now. But before I get started, I'd first like to tell you about a giveaway that I'm having. The first 1,000 folks who register are going to be entered into a drawing, and one of them, could be you, is going to win a brand new GoPro 7 Hero Black. I do need you to do me a big favor though. When you subscribe to the channel, you need to set your subscription settings to public. That way I can see who you are, draw your name, get in touch with you, and then send you the camera. So good luck. I hope you'll subscribe. There's a red subscription button. There's also a subscribe watermark down in the corner of this video. I wish you'd take a moment to hit that right now. I could really use your help, and hopefully you will win. So what do I like about this Kawasaki Vulcan S? Well, the first thing is it's nimble. It handles like a dream. I don't think I've ever ridden a powerful bike, a bike of this size, that is as flickable or as nimble as this bike is. And you know, there's a few things that make it that way. I think that overall design, the wheelbase is not too long. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but maybe we'll cover that in a specifications video later. But it's got an 18-inch front wheel and a 17-inch back wheel, and that big front wheel helps with the handling. Also the weight. This bike, wet, is just under 500 pounds. So number one is definitely the handling of this bike. It's got a real good turn radius. I can move back and forth. It's really good in traffic. It doesn't feel like a heavy bike at all. It feels a lot lighter than it is. I've ridden bikes that are 350, 400 pounds that don't feel as light as the Vulcan S does. Number two, the second thing I like most about this Vulcan S is the power and the acceleration. This bike has a 649cc parallel twin engine, and it's the same engine that Kawasaki uses in the Kawasaki Ninja. So it does have a lot of power. Now, I've read that this bike will do anywhere between 105, 110 miles per hour on the top end. And I've had it up on a deserted road early in the morning to about 100. And I'll tell you, it accelerated very evenly across the power band all the way from 0 to 100. Particularly in the lower range, this thing is literally a bat out of hell. And if memory serves me right, I've read some different specs, anywhere from 55 to 61 horsepower. This bike develops at 7,500 RPM and about 43 foot-pounds at 5,700 RPM. But this bike is really responsive. Obviously, it's tuned a little bit different than the 650 Ninja motor. The engine is also used in a 650 or the 650 Versus, and it's just, this engine is just nails. This bike will really accelerate. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm taking it from about 55 to 80 in just a couple of seconds there. I mean, really fast. We better slow down here because it's 50 mile an hour speed limit, and we don't want to end up in the Gray Bar Hilton tonight, that's for sure. The third thing that I like most about this is the brakes. This thing has powerful brakes. They are just, I find them amazing. Now, this particular bike has ABS as well, which I highly recommend, but even without the ABS, the brakes are fantastic. It's got a dual caliper disc brake up front, 300 millimeters, and in the back, 250 millimeters with a single caliper disc brake. Something that really makes you feel good when you're out riding, that safety feature that you can stop fast when you need to. Number 4 is the weight. We mentioned that earlier when I was talking about handling and nimbleness. Well, wet, the bike is 498 pounds, and dry it's probably, I've got to say about 480. That's lighter than just about any other bike in its class. I think the Honda CTX 700 is a little lighter, but the Yamaha Bolt is heavier, the Sportster 883 is heavier, and the fifth thing I like most about this Kawasaki Vulcan S is the styling. when I first saw one of these suckers in the showroom, it stood out. It's called a sport cruiser. That's where the S comes from, and the Vulcan S. And it's really an amazing looking bike. I think, honestly, I think it's one of the better looking cruisers out there, and for sure the best looking cruiser that Kawasaki has ever designed. I love the looks, I love the flow, I love the lines, the way the frame blends into the bike, the flow of the gas tank, looking at the bike from either side or head on or the tail. I just think it's really nice. You know, they sell a tail tidy kit and some other things, but I just think this bike is amazing looking without any of that stuff. Some people will knock the mirrors on this bike, saying is they're, you know, ugly looking or whatever. I think they look great. I pretty much like everything about the looks of this bike. Number 6, the sixth thing I like best about this Kawasaki Vulcan S is the dash. The layout of this dash cluster, this dash panel, whatever you want to call it. It's got the old style tack on it, which I really like, with the numbers and the needle. And then it's got a digital speedometer. And I hope it's in frame right now, but you can see it's got a clock. It's got the speedometer there. It's got the fuel gauge. It's got trip A, trip B. It's got a neutral indicator, which I really like, find helpful. Those little 3 circles that you see on the left-hand side of the dash are indicating if you're running at a fuel-efficient speed and if you have it in the right gear or not. So I like that. So anyway, trip A, trip B. It's got how many miles per gallon that you're getting at that given moment, which helps teach you to ride efficiently. And it also has the range of the tank, or how many miles you have until you run out of gas. A lot of information all crammed into one tiny package, and I just like this dash. I like it better than any of the other bikes that I've looked at to compare to this bike. And finally, last but not least, number 7 is the shifting. This bike shifts very crisp and clean. It's an easy bike to ride. The first time I got on this bike and rode it, I was just like, wow. You know, I'd heard a lot of good things about the Vulcan S, and I hate to say this, but 99% of them are true. There are some things I don't care for in this bike. We'll cover those in another video. But the clutch it's really smooth. It's easy to operate. If this was your first motorcycle, you know, in 10 or 15 minutes, you would feel pretty good. I hope this video has been helpful to those who are trying to decide which motorcycle to buy, whether it's your first or your next or your 50th. I honestly would recommend this bike to pretty much just about anybody. The Kawasaki Vulcan S, 650cc sport cruiser. Again, I think it's a great bike. That's it for now. We'll see you guys soon with another video. Please remember to subscribe. This is Trip on Two Wheels. Ride safe and ride often.